Okay, guys, this is number four attempt this morning. Happy Monday. Uh, it's it's cold. Nothing's working. The sound hasn't been working. I'm about to. Let's just test. Let me 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 test. Okay, we're good. Thank goodness. Okay, I've done a couple great intros, so now you just get what you get because it's number four now. Um, live uh, or what we're doing today is the live modeling on the sports agency. We've been working on this for a couple of weeks. This is week three. I've got the logic modeled out in the matrix and everything for athlete type one. So today's going to be just a grinder day. I'm going to try and implement all this stuff for type two and type three athletes, and then we'll see if we get any further after that. We'll have to get um, fixed and variable expenses done, and there's a lot to go on the model, but the main thinking part of it is probably close to being done. It's not just about implementing it across all the different financial reports that need to be built. When this model is done, I will put it on the industry specific bundle at smarthelping.com. It will be in here for $45. No, if you buy any bundles, you do get lifetime access, which means any things that are added to it in the future, you just ask me for a refresh and I'll give you the latest version, which will have whatever I built. If you want to buy all the templates on the whole site, you can for $9.99. I've been building these things now for going on, well, since mid 2016. Um, all kinds of industries, SaaS, real estate, industry specific startup models. And the reason why I have that real estate and SaaS are separate because there's so much in those that they have their own categories. Industry specific, joint venture waterfall, cash flow waterfalls. This stuff is actually some of the most difficult to model if you're new to modeling or if you have never built a joint venture cash flow. A lot of stuff here that's hard to do. And these models are very helpful to just learn logic. Accounting tools, trackers, human resource trackers, personal finance, Google Sheet architectures, sales pipeline, and customer resource management in Google Sheets. There's a lot of cool stuff here, and then general evaluation. All right, without further ado, let's get into this thing. Let me put up the analytics. We're 13 minutes late. I got a slight headache, and we're on attempt number four because of audio technical difficulties. So peace be with me, is what I say. Um, got quite a bit of administrative work to do is on the brand, the Smart Helping brand, and just some custom financial modeling work to do as well. So I don't know how far we'll get here. Also, I'm I guess I'm a little out of it. The weekend was interesting. I'm not a big goer outer, and so we went out with my wife's high school friend to a wine crawl. It's not my scene. It's not my most fun thing to do. So, and I don't drink really, so that was yeah. So I honestly feel zapped right now, but we'll see what we could do. So Matrix 1 has all the logic. For Matrix 2, we're going to pick in all of this reference instead of this reference section. And the reason why I wanted to do three athlete types for the sports agency is because depending on your style, your goals, it might not be enough to have only one type of athlete models over the period. So you get three, up to three. And you don't have to use all three, but you can. And remember, we have this really cool stuff here that we're doing dynamically, where you can define over the lifetime of any given athlete for each type. And this will be, well, we might as well do this now because there's a different schedule for each athlete type. You can define based on their base salary, how much of that are they earning over the lifetime of their tenure, up to 120 months. And then there's also an adjuster for endorsements, because as a sports agent, you're getting a percentage of salary, and then your percentage of endorsements, and these are always different percentages. And also, you could have endorsements go longer than the playing career. So this percentage logic here is actually awesome. Excited to implement. It's something new. I've not implemented it in any other models. It just hasn't come up, but for this, it makes really good sense to use. So that's fun. Always like to do new logic. Okay, so we're gonna go H and I here for type 2. I can label these because I don't think there's any non-referenced position formulas, so we can just insert a row and just say type 1, and then whatever this is. Oh, whoops, we're off by 1. Come on. We're working on copy and pasting this morning. Okay. Type 2 athletes. Type 3. Oh, let's adjust these labels while we're at it. These are editable. Okay. And okay, I did reference that there. Perfect. So that is good. 2, 3. Okay. Perfect. We have matrix 2. And now, oh, let's copy this over. So on a couple of these, I've been using the text adjuster and labeling the sections if there's different configuration types. I feel like it's a pretty good formatting style. Now, athletes added per month. I just want the same exact formula that's up here. Give me the same formula. I'm just trying to be very careful because I don't want to cause errors. And then we're going to adjust. So C5 and 6 will go to 20 and 21. C5 is 20. And then row 7 is going to go to 22. And we'll change the numbers so we can see what this is. What? Oh, whoops. This needs to come down as well. Now, what happened here? Five. Ah, our index. So, what in the world did I do? Oh, this is rough, guys. Okay, we want to index. We don't want 7, we want 22. What the heck did I put here? Oh, I put 2. Yep, this is rough. 22, and then revenue assumptions. Okay, that's fine. All right, that looks more correct. So these are athletes added per month. Now you might add one athlete every 6 months in your financial plan. If that's the case, then you just divide, you just do 1 over 6. Well, no, actually you would do, see this is 0.25. You would have to start at a lower number and say, well, in the first 6 months I plan on getting one athlete. And that's, if that's the case, you start at 1 over 6. And so this point, whoop, no, 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 no. There's a difference between percentages and this was converting that. Okay, yeah, 16. This gives you 1.5. Well, while we're on this, let's look at this. So, do we want to change how this works? Right now, it's kind of working like a SAS growth assumption or structure where you have a starting amount, and then here, okay, this is the average growth in count. So I did change it a little bit. So if I say I have 1 and then I add 0.25, that means it's going to take me quite a while to get to 2, like over 100 months. Wait. No, that doesn't work either. That doesn't make sense. So this is 1, and this is saying we're adding 1 plus a quarter. I believe we need to think of a cleaner way to show or to drive how many athletes um, there are being added per month, whether it be a decimal because you're not adding one every month, you might be adding one every couple months. Let me see what's the best way to show this. And the other thing is you want to try to have some kind of even growth rather than, you know what though, in this model, it's not like a SAS. Like you're not growing insane with your athlete count. It's going to be slow. It depends on your strategy, but just I believe defining the yearly amount added per month rather than the amount that you're adding growth is easier to understand it and adjust, and you can make that at a decimal. So let's adjust that. Let's say, for example, what if this is 0.25, meaning it'll take 4 months to add one person. So now if we do it like this, I think it's just way simpler to understand. And then we'll label this athletes added per month. And this works too if it's an existing um, agency. You can put your starting count here, and then whenever you start having, you want the forecast to start, you can put it here. And then this will show how many athletes are added per month on top of that, not the growth of this amount. This is simpler to do. Now the other ways is good for like something where you're going to grow to hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of whatever you're growing, and you want a nice growth per month in the first few years, rather than saying, only adjusting this amount every year. So the formula becomes actually quite a bit more simplified. So now you have so if that equals that, then do your starting count. Otherwise, if it's greater than that, then simply take this value. We don't need to do any multiplying. And you see now the amount added can be like 0.25. And it's just, that means, okay, over 4 months, I've now added a total of one new one, rather than trying to figure out what the percentages mean. And you can see the count, active athletes based on those percentages. I did dynamic calculations down here. So you can see active endorsements. That's simply going to say if this endorsement is greater than 0, then give me the max amount of, based on the amount added, athletes added in that monthly cohort, give me that value, otherwise 0. And then we aggregate all that to find active endorsements, and then we also do the same thing with active player contracts. And that's just all going to run off these percentages, like how long the athlete's active for. Okay, so this is perfect. Now, it's over this, we just simply, we take the index amount, we don't need a multiplication. Okay. And now it's really easy to adjust and understand. Now let's say, what if athlete type 2, we start, also I want to make sure this formula works if this is not the start month, because it might not. Yeah, okay, so false. So we forgot an if error in there. No worries. Redrag this over. Now what this does is allow you to have a very big agency. Let's say you had 5, 10, 15 athletes a month, or you're adding only an athlete every few years, or like 2 athletes a year or whatever. This is going to make it easy to do that. Well, yeah, we need the, there we go. All right, drag this over. So here we're adding 1. Let's make sure we have all the assumptions working right, and then we're going to add 2 per month. Now you could be adding athletes, and then maybe for type 2, maybe they only last, a year, and then they start diminishing. 75. And then maybe 0. So maybe whatever is going on here will also end the endorsements. Whatever's type 2 athletes like, this is their schedule, so quite a bit different. So now you have different numbers. You'll have different numbers for the athletes over time. We have to build the logic for this though. All right, but to do all of that was to figure out, we have the amount added per month. Let's go to matrix 2 and adjust. So now we monthly E9 was this. Now we want E25. Looks good. Now the next matrix here is tenure count. So this is just a count. It's fine, no adjustments needed. Year onboarded, same deal. That'll be dynamically referenced. Now, salary value. Here's where we got to change some things. So max, this is fine. Index 12 now becomes 27. Let's say these are smaller contract. Let's say they're $1 million contracts on average per year. So 27. That's fine. And then validation instead of CD. Remember, we're doing G, H, and I. So it'd be G and then H for salary, I believe, right? Yep. I's endorsements. So this should be taking athlete count, and we'll do a sanity check on this because who knows what in the world I actually did. Oh, this should be able to drag down all the way. All right, so let's say we had 3 to start with, and we're adding 2. Okay, so first cohort is 3, which is actually this times 3 divided by 12, because that's the annual value, so 250, and then that 250 is 100%. Okay, good, so 250. Now, in the 24th month of these contracts, or I mean the 13th month, it's 187, which should match up with this 75%. Perfect, 187.5. Okay, and you can see here, if we sum this up, it's 3 million. This is just cohort 1 month, or the first cohort we had, which starts in month 3. What am I doing here? Oh, at 12, there we go. So 2,250,000. Now, if I look at cohort 2, it's different because we're only adding 2 people. So you've got 2 million, and then 75% of that should be what? 1.5. Okay. And then you end after that. So that looks like it's working fine. Let's move on. So that's salary. Active player, this is just a reference logic. Endorsements. Okay, endorsements. So here we now go. So 15, 16 becomes 30 and 31. Oh, wait a second. Wait, what do we do for... Which, oh, this percentage here applies on the monthly detail only. All right, so what am I doing? Oh, row 30. So it's 15 goes to 30. And then again, C to E. Now we'll do endorsements. So we go G to I. Everything else is dynamic, so we can pull this in. It's the same number because we haven't changed the numbers yet for this endorsement part. Okay, looking good. Shorter lifespan. Let's say this is 300,000. You've got 3, so it'd be 900 for 12 months. Perfect. And then 25. No, wait a sec. And then we're going up here. All these percentages for endorsement. We went up, up, and then 0. Okay, so that makes sense. Goes up to 82, up to 112 a month, and then 0. Now the aggregate of all this is the basis for how the agency is going to make money. Now endorsements, I think that's all we have now. Active endorsements, and yep, that's it. So that's all type 2. If we go back to the monthly detail, so we have this. Here we can just copy this and change it to matrix 2. So even though there's a shorter life cycle on these ones, the count added is so much higher. So you can see the overall, your overall count is getting, into the 72s for stabilized, where this athlete type 1 is stabilized at 18. All right, so total value here. Again, I'll copy this over and just change this to matrix 2. Now, what are we doing on this? What is 18? Ah, this is year. So we're taking the total value times the percentage for player contracts. So 28 is what we want. Y E28, so 0 times, did I say 19? No, 19 needs to be 3. I'm going to lock that just so when I drag it down again, it doesn't move. E2 needs to be locked as well. That's fine. All right, so there's how much the agency is making per month based on those numbers. Active players. So again, we just changed from matrix 1 to matrix 2. Wait a second, is this the same? Or 491? No. What did I do here? 491 and 735. I think this is supposed to be endorsements, active endorsements. Let me look at 735. Yeah, that's endorsements, so I need to relabel this. This is active endorsement. Or no, active, wait, we can actually just call it active athletes endorsements. Okay, so that is different. That's 7. Let's copy this down. Oh, we did it. We already did that. So this is going to be different than this if we go over time because these are endorsements are lasting longer. Oh, they should be. Hang on. These should not be the same. Oh, yes, actually. They have different amounts, but they go, let's say the endorsements go another 12 months. Now, the extra 12 months, these will start to be different. Yeah. So, an athlete endorsed, this is higher now, which makes sense. Okay, good. It's very good that I have a good understanding of what's going on so that when other people use it, it's making sense. All right. Now, total value of athlete playing contract. This needs to be changed. This is total value of athlete endorsements. And again, we just take the value from the matrix here. Change that to 2. Okay, so you have this. Agency commission on endorsements. Good. Bring this down to here. And then instead of 16, we want 31. And this is type 2. All right, let me make sure I didn't mess any of these references. Looks good. And then let's make sure these are all 2, 2. Okay. All right. That is type 2, configured and completed and checked as best as I could. So the revenue here is much higher because there's just more. Even though the retention rate is lower, there's more being added per month, 0.25 versus 2, so 8 times. So you have 8 times the amount added per month, but you have a retention rate which is much shorter. You know, these are going 36 months. The one we're adding more of, and then the ones we're adding less of are going 72. Another good use of this financial model, if you're doing this, is you can compare and say, well, what if my agency does this type of athlete overtime, or this type, or this type, and you could see once I finish all 3 types what that revenue looks like over time, and what the count looks like, and what the workload looks like. All right, we're going to try to push through and get type 3 done, and that's probably where we'll do today. So let's just try and get this done, and then I've about had it. I'm fried. All right, type 3, we can copy this. Okay. Now, again, the first things first, we need to make sure we're doing correctly is athletes added per month. Let's just take this formula, bring it right down here. And then all we have to do is adjust. So C 2021 becomes 3536. E4 is fine. What did I say? 20 is 35. And then we want 37. Let's say we had a small amount on these as well, but large contracts. I mean, not super large, but larger than what we've had. All right. So 22 should be 37. Started in May, looks good. Adding 0.1. Okay, that's good. Now, we just need 41 here. Change this to 41. Oh, what happened? Something's wrong, something's wrong, something's wrong. Why are we just not adding anybody after this? Oh, I didn't drag us all the way down here. Okay. All right, we got numbers going all the way down. That looks like the right number. This is fine. That's fine. All right, 27 goes to 42. We look up, instead of GH, we're doing KL. Figure out how much of the base is earning over time. Other than that, we should be good. Let me sanity check this. So $3 million. If this were 3, or let's say 5, then it would be 15 million. Okay. Logic is looking good. Next, so this is dynamic endorsements. 30 goes to 45. And we go KM. Everything else is good. Oh, these are going a long time. 72 months. Now, does that make sense? Oh wait, endorsements. Endorsements are going for 112 months, and that does make sense because it's going to 116, but we're starting in month 5. Okay, good. And this is all dynamic. All right. Now, so this is going over same position, different matrix tabs. So matrix 3. One mistake I've made here is when I first started referencing these in type 1 for the matrix, I should have locked the row. So then I could drag them down without having to adjust, and I could just change 1 to 2, 1 to 2, 2 to 3 without having to really focus on copying and pasting it, or It'd just be better that way, but it's okay. So that's right there. Now commissions is this number times, and it was 40, wait, should be 43. So it's almost actually the same positional or distance from the revenue assumptions. Okay, that's good. Now endorsements. All right. Total value. Is that right? 833. I guess you've got 5. What are they making? You got 5 making 2 million divided by 12. Yeah, okay. This, yep. So this needs to be up to E2. Now this percentage is 46. Now something doesn't look right to me. Oh, undo, undo, undo. Let's copy this down. Now what did I say, 42? Or 46? I can't even remember. 46. All right. We did it. Now let's, something's actually not right. Uh, yeah, so this needs to come down. Everything else looks good. Now, another way you can sanity check stuff is when we do visualizations, and then you can start playing with the numbers, and it's easier to see differences and visually see differences rather than numerically. So that's another sanity check that we'll have. Now, why this needs to be formatted without a decimal, or with one decimal actually. There we go. I was wondering why there's, yeah, the same with this one. Okay, there we go. Now they're all the same. This one needs updated. I was looking at it, I'm like, man, that zero is still, that doesn't look right. And yeah, because it's supposed to be a dash. All right, cool. So you can do, I just have different variant start dates so that I can make sure I'm referencing the right assumptions. But this is the hardest thing. This is all done. Next up, what we'll do tomorrow morning is probably variable expenses, regular expenses, and start getting the financial statements together. based on all that data and assumptions. Don't forget, check out smartopening.com for more financial models, templates, and tools. Again, you can buy everything I've ever built on the site for $9.99. And I'll see you guys on